All right. So hey everyone. So I'm Ishan, and then this is the first time you're seeing Aryan.
Yeah, my name's Aryan. I know it says Vandana Jingle on the Zoom screen, but we can edit that out. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about the upcoming Steelers game and what happened last week. It was kind of a rough week, but I think we played much better. I think we played much better than my expectations.
Yeah, I agree. I was very impressed in the first half. Like we were both predicting a low scoring game, and
Mhm.
at halftime we were up 2017 or 23-20. Like it was impressive. And Kenny was making some great throws. Remember that throw to George Pickens for that touchdown?
Yeah. There's a couple. I
Yeah.
mean, I even like towards the end, I saw after we basically lost, there was like the dot he threw that like George Pickens like dropped, but he threw, I thought honestly pretty well for the most part. I know Big Ben. I don't know if we're gonna talk about it, but Big Ben like commented a little bit on Kenny Pickett's game. He said he's making a lot of the right reads. Obviously, sometimes he like missed a couple of touchdown throws, but that happens. Like you don't expect a quarterback to like get every read and get every possible like touchdown. Like they're gonna miss certain throws, obviously.
No, for sure. We'll get into quickly the stats, and then I kind of have a question for you, Aryan. So Pickett for 265 yards, one of his higher throwing days, a touchdown. Najee had a great game, ran for 90 and two rushing touchdowns. Pickens, four catches, 83 yards, a touchdown. Freiermuth was very involved, which I love. I love Freiermuth. I think he's going to be great for us in the future. Eight catches for 79 yards. And then I'll quickly get into the Bengals stats, and then we can get into kind of the big topic after the game in that. So Joe Burrow, he's a stud. He had 355 yards, four TDs, two picks, which were both great picks by the Steelers. Crazy interceptions. And then running back Samaje P. Ryan went off, and as well as T. Higgins at the receiver position. But that was wild. So Jermaine Pratt, one of the Bengals linebackers, he said after halftime, we just had to settle down because the Steelers were calling the same plays over and over.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I saw that. Was that your question, or what were you gonna ask?
Yeah. So what are your just kind of what are your thoughts on that? And like what does that say about Matt Canada? I know we insult him we get on him a lot and he's looked better at certain things, but like there's some every week I feel like it's something wrong with that offense.
No, yeah, I mean it's something that I'm also frustrated with, and
Yeah.
when other teams are calling it out, that's when it's kind of embarrassing because we were having a really strong first half, and then obviously the second half we got nothing going, especially that third quarter. Like we got turnovers, like that TJ Watt interception was immaculate, but
Crazy.
but nothing from it, right? We couldn't score. Why? I think we were too predictable in the red zone wherever we were on the field, and so yeah, I think coaching change is needed expeditiously. I don't think it'll happen because I don't know how much Mike Tomlin really recognizes it, but everyone
Yeah.
else recognizes it. It seems like I think even Big Ben is even saying, kind of, he alluded to Matt Canada being the problem, how like it's so predictable, and then other teammates are kind of maybe hinting at it, and now even opponents are like even complaining in a way. So yeah.
Right. Right. No, it's terrible. And like with Matt Canada, like, and one big thing, and that goes on Kenny as well. And Canada's like, I think we started the second half with four consecutive three and outs. That's terrible because that means the offense is on the field for less than 2 minutes, and then the defense is right back on the field. So as good as the defense can play, they're not getting any rest, which is then going to hurt the defense further because TJ Watt had that crazy interception. And the defense was playing better. I think Cam Hayward got a sack later. I believe it was in the second half, and so I think that just that we got to be better at avoiding three and outs. Like I don't, it's okay in my opinion if we don't get a touchdown, but we should at least go 45 yards and get them in good bad field position instead of doing a three and out, punt it, they start back up again, and then their defense is so rested because they're never on the field. So that's something we definitely need to work on. And both of us agree that Matt Canada needs to go. And I was trying to pull up a little bit. Our that Chase Claypool trade is kind of looking better and better for us recently because I'm looking at his stats, and since being traded to Chicago, he has a total of three catches for 19 yards in two games. So granted, Justin Fields runs the ball a lot, but I think the Bears keep losing, and so that draft pick's getting better for us. So that's one good thing for us.
No, yeah, I mean,
But
I agree. I would
mhm.
expect him to play a little better, but yeah, I mean, I don't want him to play bad, but maybe we're not really
Right.
missing out on much.
Right. And it's allowing Pickens, he's a stud. Pickens, in my opinion, is the best receiver on the team already.
Mhm.
And so let him grow. But Arian, so this is something that we talked about. We both said the Bengals game was pivotal. You predicted the Bengals would win. I went with emotion, went with the Steelers. So we're playing the Colts. I wish it was on some Monday night. Would have been so exciting to be 4-6, getting ready for the game, but we're unfortunately 3-7. I think we have to win out to make it to the playoffs. We'd have to win the next 7 games, which is probably unlikely. But the Colts are favored by 2.5. During the game, for me, I'm gonna be rooting for the Steelers, but not gonna be as sad if we lose, because I know that means like we're probably gonna get a higher draft pick. But what are you thinking about for the game? Do you want the Steelers to win? And obviously, if you want them to lose, it's not because you don't like them, but because it's better for us in the down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a fan, I could never want my team to lose. That's
Yeah,
kind of so hard to root for. I'll always kind of root for a win, even over a draft pick. It's kind of like hard. Like it's kind of saying like your player's not trying. That's kind of like not the spirit of the game. And so, and even like if we win and like certain players show out, that kind of shows potential for the future. And so that's kind of what I would look out for rather than just like a draft pick. Because I think we usually draft well regardless. So
yeah,
any kind of pick we get in the top 10, I think will be decent enough. So I'll be rooting for a win against the Colts. I think last week was kind of our opportunity to stay in the hunt, but
yeah.
now we're probably not in the hunt. But now I'm like, okay, if we're not going to win the playoffs, let's actually go for the Mike Tomlin record. Let's go for 500. Let's shoot
Right.
for that record. Yeah.
So that means we'd have to go 9-8. So we'd only could lose 1 game, but our schedule is not that tough. If we can somehow do it, that'd be amazing. And I really just want to see Kenny Pickett develop,
Mm-hmm.
because I bring the argument: do we draft a guy like early if we have a top 5 pick? But I think if Kenny Pickett, based on how he played against the Bengals, I think he's a franchise guy. But
Mm-hmm.
let's see how he continues that for the next 7 games. So I'll quickly get into the injury report, and then we'll kind of do our analysis. So Kwity Paye, defensive end for the Colts, is questionable, and then Shaq Leonard, their stud linebacker, he's out with a neck injury. He underwent back surgery last week and is going to miss the rest of the season. It's a big loss for them, but those are the kind of the major players who are out for the Colts or who are on their injury report. But it's kind of a short list, and we don't have a long list either. Jalen Warren's questionable, the hamstring injury. Akella Witherspoon's been hurt for a while. He's questionable. Mason Cole with a foot injury, he's questionable. And then Miles Boykin, the receiver, he's questionable with an oblique injury. But Aaron, we'll get into kind of the positional analysis. So Colts have Matt Ryan at quarterback, and we have Kenny, obviously. Who are you taking at quarterback?
Honestly, this might be the first time in a while, but I'm actually going with Kenny Pickett. I think we have the
Okay,
advantage in the
okay.
quarterback position. Matt Ryan has had a rusty season. He's actually been benched, I think, one time as well over the course of the season.
No,
So yeah, I mean, Kenny hasn't played where he has to be benched. So yeah, I'm gonna say we're leading that position.
I agree there. Yeah. And then at running back, it's interesting. Najee's been playing a lot better, but they have a stud at Jonathan Taylor. And then I'm a fan of Jeff Saturdays. I don't think he was hired in the right manner, but I think he could be a good coach for them, just as a leader. And he's an O lineman. Their O line is playing better. So I got to go with Jonathan Taylor there, but I think I'm liking what I'm seeing from Najee recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As for wide receivers, I think we have a decent wide receiver core. The Colts have a okay wide receiver core with Michael Pittman Jr. like their main star. I think since we have Deontay and George Pickens, like that duo is a little bit more of a threat, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna say we have the position of advantage there.
Yeah, I agree there. And then at tight end, so I think we, in my opinion, have a top 10 tight end in the league. He just doesn't, we don't always utilize him as a top 10 tight end because we don't pass all the time. The Colts, honestly, have had an injury. Mo Ali Cox is a decent tight end, and then I'm actually not that familiar with Colin Grayson. I think he's a younger guy for them. And so I got to go Steelers here. Pat Fryermuth's been playing a lot better, so yeah, the Steelers have the better tight end.
Yeah, for the O line, I might lean slightly towards the Colts. Jonathan Taylor, I think, had a rough start to the season, but has been playing slightly better as the season has been progressing. I mean, they have Quentin Nelson, who's kind of like an upcoming star. And our O line has been all right, but I guess since the offense has not been doing that well at times, like the second half of last game, uh, some maybe could be towards like some blame could be thrown at the O line. So I'm gonna give the slight edge to the Colts.
Yeah, I did like what I saw from our O-line though. I think they gave up only 2 sacks last game, and they
Mhm.
gave up 6 to the Saints, which is kind of funny that we beat the Saints, giving up 6 sacks, and lost to the Bengals, giving up 2. But yeah, at the D line, this is interesting. I think our D line's fully healthy now with Ogunjobi, Cam Hayward, Chris Wormley, Montravius Adams. But the Bengals, I mean not the Bengals, the Colts also have a good D line. Was there DeForest Buckner, Kwity Pin, Yannick Ngagwe, who's I feel like he became well known when he was a Jacksonville Jaguar. So I think I'm gonna go even here just because normally I'd be like, oh, we have TJ Watt, but TJ Watt's counted in the linebackers category, so I'll go even at the D line position.
Yeah, and you kind of hinted at where I'd go with the linebacker position analysis with obviously us having the best kind of, in my opinion, linebacker in the league. You could tell how much of an impact he has, that interception, the pressure. So honestly, it doesn't even matter who the Colts have. I think if you have DJ Watt on your team, you have the advantage there.
Yeah, I agree. And they have Shaq Leonard out, who's one of their better players, one of their best players on their team. So I completely agree there. And the secondary position, I was a little disappointed with last week. He's like our second best defensive player in my opinion, but he didn't really perform well. But granted, he just had an appendectomy done a week earlier, so I'm not gonna put that much blame on him. Our secondary's been playing better recently. Levi Wallace has been really playing well. I feel like Demonte KZ has been playing pretty well. The Colts have a good secondary with Stephon Gilmore, Kenny Moore, Rodney McLeod, and so but we also give up a lot of yards, especially to T. Higgins last week. So I'm gonna go even here because I think Minka makes an impact this game, and I could see an interception from Minka this game.
Yeah, as for special teams, I'm not really sure about the Colts special teams. I think our special teams did all right whenever like we returned the ball. I thought we got decent
Yeah,
amount of yards from I think what was it Steven Sims, I'm guessing. Yeah,
I
so
love Stevenson's returning the ball. Yeah,
yeah. I think it was, you know, I think a little better than just mediocre. I think it was actually somewhat times that impressive and shocking. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Steelers.
yeah. He looked a lot better. I miss Boswell, but at least if we're not in contention right now, uh, at least
Oh, that's
we
right.
don't
I
miss
forgot that
Boswell
we
as
don't have
much.
him as a kicker, but so maybe it's kind of even. Not having Chris Boswell as a kicker probably makes it even.
Yeah, so when we tally that up, there's 2 even positions. The Steelers win at we have the Steelers winning at 4 of the positions, 4 of the positional groups, and the Colts winning at 2 of them. And so there's 3 ties, Colts winning at 2. So Steelers have a little bit of advantage in the roster, and I think we do have a little bit better of a roster in some aspects, but I'll give 2 keys for the game, and then Arjen can give one. I think obviously let's call some different plays. Like, come on now, like it's kind of like I think that's something you tell middle schoolers. You don't need to tell an NFL professional team. And then I think that the secondary needs to play better because the D line's been rushing, but I feel like we just constantly give up these yards. It's just chunk yards, 10, 15 yards every time. But Arjen, you want to give one more key to the game, and then we'll get into our predictions for this game on Monday night?
Yeah, I mean honestly, those two are the main points I would like to see. Like on offense, calling different plays, and on defense, the secondary needs to play better. I guess also just do what works for us, and that's like get sacks, maintain pressure, get turnovers. So I would say maybe just like get sacks would be the main thing. Like yeah, maintain that pressure with DJ Watt because when that happens, our whole defense just seems to like flow.
Yeah, and along with it, I'd love to see Alex Highsmith finish in the year with the top 5 in sacks. I know he's up there. He's probably like top 10 right now. He must have like 9 sacks, but I know one of the goals he set for this year was to have 10 plus sacks, and he definitely is on his way to achieving that. So Arjen, you were right last week, and I was wrong. You're 5-5, and I'm 4-6. Who are you going with on Monday night? Sorry, not Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going with the Steelers. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
a little low scoring game. I'm going to say 22-17.
Okay. I'm going Steelers too, and then I think I'm going around the same, just going by a touchdown win. Actually, I'll go 24-20. I could see it kind of being a little Steelers scoring early, then we have a drought, and then we score later and we close out the game with a field goal. So yeah, we'll see if we're right. And if you didn't catch our first episode, this is our second episode that we're putting on YouTube specifically. We've been on Spotify for a while, but hope you enjoy the content. And then we hope we're talking to you after a win after Monday night.
Yes, sir.